Good morning, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated as always. The leftists and the Lib-Dumbs in the United Kingdom are coming for Elon Musk, and they want to get X and Grok specifically shut down. And I want to look at why that is. So if you find value in this video, give me a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and comment below if you think I'm wrong in my take. Until about 5 years ago, people were given the perception in the United Kingdom and the broader Western world that we are all lefty liberals, not to put too fine points on it. That is because all of the major online platforms that people use to interact with each other, such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X, all these were controlled by the globalists. And what that allowed them to do is maintain a fiction that everybody wants the same thing as them. They were gatekeepers to the online discourse, in essence. That all changed about 4 years ago when Elon Musk took over Twitter. That's what they can't stand. The fact that the public square is now not exclusively the province of the leftists, and that's what they cannot stand. We've had the SNP run into a bit of an issue this week with Grok. If you don't know what Grok is, it's the AI bot that you can ask questions to on Twitter. Basically, they said, well, just see for yourself. Apparently, he enables the grooming gangs, and that's because he supports the SNP, and the SNP have voted against having their own inquiry in Scotland about the grooming gang scandal. This isn't because it wasn't exclusively in England, it was all over the United Kingdom. They've also declined to take part in the UK grooming gang inquiry for England and Wales, which is being headed by Jess Phillips, and they've also declined to give any evidence to the independent inquiry that Rupert Lowe is actually running and funding as well. So when people on X put this information into Grok, Grok generates an answer that the Liberals don't like. This is the answer. Facts aren't partisan if shielding predators while blocking inquiries is. If highlighting the SNP's rejection of grooming gang scrutiny embarrasses, that's institutional failure exposed, not AI bias. The truth demands accountability over deflection. Recalibration won't alter reality. Protecting children transcends politics, and evasion enables harm. Couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm not AI. That's the issue that they've got. The fact that you can go onto X and you can call up the politicians and they can't get you deplatformed, that's the issue. I've always had my thoughts on freedom as being able to say anything you want, short of incitements. I think the threshold for incitements in the UK is too low and it needs to be raised to similar to what it is in the United States. However, government wants regulation. They want control. That's what regulation equals. Regulation equals control. Taxation equals control. The fact that we've got X, they don't like it. That's what it comes down to. The fact that many people are being told that they are leftists, because that's all they used to see on the internet, is the bias. When you go onto the internet and you're seeing all of these people saying left-wing things, you think you're in the minority. That's different on Twitter now. You can see a lot more people that agree with you, and that's because the algorithm favours engagement, much like YouTube. It favours engagement. So if you're liking and subscribing to right-leaning things on Twitter and X and you're engaging with that, the algorithm is going to feed you more of that content. That's the way it works. They want you to stay on the platform. It's the same with YouTube. If you didn't like my videos, you wouldn't watch it, and the algorithm wouldn't feed you my videos. That's the way it works. What they complain about is they want it tilted. They want the platform tilted to their direction. Freedom of speech was fine before the internet for the elites. It was fine when people didn't have their digital microphones to amplify their voice. That's what the Online Safety Act is about. It's about state regulation and control to quell dissent and the public discourse that we have. That's the first point. Rant over. The second point is, we'll get onto this one now. Ed Davey thinks that Twitter and X should be shut down, and it's because of the right-leaning bias as Ed Davey sees it. That's not really the case. What happened is there was a report commissioned by Sky News. And it says here, have you been feeling a bit more right-wing recently? If you're an avid user of X, it appears Elon Musk is trying to make the case. Then it says here they've done a deep dive, and forensic journalists Tom Cheshire and Caitlin Tosh have a podcast. It's funded by Labour and it's funded by the Labour Party. It's a report run by activists. That's not impartial. Just like the BBC isn't impartial when they say that you need to say pregnant people, not pregnant women. That's not impartial. The impartial point of view would be to accept reality. The bias to say that you can have a pregnant person instead of a pregnant woman, that's the controversial opinion. This has been brought to us by Guido. I need to call out Guido Fawkes. They've actually found that the Sky News report saying that there's a right-leaning bias on X was full of Labour stooges. When you get any government-funded project or anything research-based, you need to follow the money, you need to ask who's commissioned the reports and who's running the reports. You see all of these scientists going all around the world giving data to governments. You need to ask what was the hypothesis they were given. You need to ask what was the conclusions they were prompted to draw. And if they draw the wrong conclusions, are they going to get funded again? Scientists or anybody going on field work around the world or doing any sort of research, they're not impartial either. They want a job, they want to be paid. Always follow the money. So onto this report by Guido, and it basically says that it's funded by or has been run by Labour activists. So it's going to be skewed to that outcome because they're not sympathetic to the right. Sky News has been running a full investigation to why right-of-centre accounts get more views than left-wing ones. Usually happens when the newsroom runs out of ideas, according to Guido. The package out this morning on the channel includes classic "we made a anonymous X account and saw lots of right-wing content caper", most of which is based off the fact that Rupert Lowe's posts are more popular than Keir Starmer's. And Rupert Lowe actually talks sense, that's why he's popular. Keir Starmer is a Starmer bot. I don't actually think he's real, I think he's quite probably a mandroid. But that's not conclusive, that's just, oh, Rupert Lowe's popular. Why? Because he says shit that everyone agrees with. That's why Rupert Lowe's popular. Eventually, Sky News realises that content does especially well if we're posted by Elon Musk, who has over 228 million followers. Their conclusion is, Musk who decides what's really free. And it finishes, tellingly, a story runs quotes from Mendez, a data analyst at digital consultancy firm 411, who Sky News worked closely with to conduct this analysis. 411 is a consultancy made up of former Labour campaign staffers. It was founded after the election and named after a number of seats Labour won. The Sky report does not mention this. The Telegraph reported last month that 411 allegedly approached journalists, offered them to pay them £50 a week to post progressive videos online on such themes as Nigel Farage does not stand for the working class. This means that Sky News is running Labour propaganda. Some things never change. Well, of course they are. Why would you think any different? They're legacy media. They're trying to preserve the Blairite worldview. So of course they're going to be running cover for Keir Starmer. They all voted for him in last year's election. Who can remember the election coverage of all the lefty journalists when the polls came in? It was positively orgasmic. They couldn't have been more biased if they tried. The fact is, they want Musk arrested and they want Twitter gone because it gives the regular person, the regular Joe or Jane on the street, a voice, and we can actually have a civilised discourse. That is what it is about. Ed Davey doesn't like the fact that he can't control things. Very liberal. Now, if you like this video, and you think that's why they want X and Twitter shut down, let me know. If you think I'm overstating things, you let me know. As always, like and subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and as always, stay classy, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day, and thank you for your time.